Hi, I'm Jeff. This is Tropical Plants at 53 degrees north. So welcome to my greenhouse, and today I'm going to go through 5 wish list plants, 5 of the plants that I really want at this moment. It's very much of the moment. No doubt if you asked me in another week's time, I'd have another top 5 list. This is a very exciting collaboration, and right at the end I want you to head over to Anna's Violet and have a look at her 5 wish list plants, and then you'll have 10 altogether. You see, it's all very well worked out. So let's get cracking. Okay, so number 1 on my list is Monstera deliciosa albo-variegata, which is quite a mouthful. Now that might be quite familiar to some of you because it always seems to be in the news. If you Google it, you'll see loads of news articles about it, as possibly the most expensive houseplant currently on trend at the moment. And if you have a look at it, you'll see why. Now I've managed to get hold of a little bit of footage off Instagram, and this is an absolutely gorgeous plant. If you're into your foliage, then you will like this plant. You will absolutely love this plant, in fact. So we're talking about really bright white on like a dark green background. The splashes of variegation are all over the leaf. They're very, very variable, as are the holes variable. You get different types of variegation. Sometimes you get pure white leaf, sometimes you get half and half, all sorts of things, very much like a Tradescantia, in fact, in that sense. Really, really desirable plant, and on the whole, when you look at the whole thing, it just looks incredible. So if anybody wants to send me a cutting, you know where I am. But just look at some of the prices here. Some of them are absolutely eye-watering, and no doubt if anybody gets hold of one, the first thing they'll think about is selling those cuttings on. But I really, really envy you if you have this, and I very much doubt that I'm going to have one anytime soon. So that's number 1 on my wish list. So number 2 on my list is a Nepenthes. It's a carnivorous plant, and it is Nepenthes veitchii or veitchii, and I've gone for Candy Dreams, little fly there. However, I would have any of the veitchii hybrids because it's such a colourful pictured plant. It really is a stunner. And the one that you can see here now is from Red Leaf Exotics, and this one is Nepenthes veitchii Candy Dreams. And you can see there are these squat tubby pitchers, the very large pitchers, and the peristome is just incredible. Loads and loads of variation. And if you do have a look on the internet and look at some of the various pictures, you'll see that again, like a lot of these variegated plants, the variegations, the different colours can be completely differently proportioned, but you can definitely tell a veitchii hybrid just because of the markings on the peristome. And as I say, I would go for any of the veitchii hybrids even, but the one I'm looking at the moment on my wish list is this Candy Dream. No doubt if I lived in the US, I would be onto Red Leaf Exotics straight away and pick up that absolutely wonderful hybrid of Nepenthes veitchii and add it to my collection. So that's number 2. And by the way, if you want to read about Nepenthes veitchii, head over to the link in the description, which is an excellent blog by Tom's Carnivores, which has really broken it down into all the different hybrids and species, and it really is well worth a read if you're into that particular plant. So that's Nepenthes veitchii. Let's get on to number 3. Okay, well, I had to throw a Tradescantia in there. Well, actually, it isn't technically a Tradescantia. It's in the Comeliaceae family, but this one is called Tradescantia, in brackets. It's actually Tinantia pringlei variegata. Now, Tinantia pringlei is actually a common weed, and no doubt, like many Tradescantia, it's a pernicious one, and one that is no doubt on the banned list in many countries. Not so over here, but the variegated form is really quite unusual and quite nice. And if you are a Tradescantia collector, well, you've just got to have them all, haven't you? And that is one that I've not been able to get hold of, so it's one that's on my wish list. I really like the purple speckles on this particular plant, and I know the species one is quite readily available and not that expensive, but it's the variegated one that I'm after. As usual, it boils down to, is it rare? Is it difficult to get hold of? Is it expensive? Well, if it is, I'm probably going to want it. Well, I'm standing next to a Nepenthes here, this one up here. This one has lowii in it, so I'm talking about Nepenthes lowii, and what is the giveaway is that kind of hourglass figure. And Nepenthes lowii is probably one of the first Nepenthes that many people come across because it's so frequently in documentaries. And I'm thinking about a particularly famous scene from David Attenborough's Secret Life of Plants, which I believe is 25, 26 years ago now when that was out. But there is a particular particular scene where a little shrew comes along and uses the Nepenthes picture as a toilet. And we're then told that this particular Nepenthes has developed and evolved over millions of years in order to take advantage of that, and it even produces a particularly laxative-inducing chemical in the lid of its pitcher in order to encourage the shrew to come along and take a lick of this stuff and to do its business in the actual Nepenthes pitcher. So I would like the species of that. There's loads of Nepenthes lowii hybrids, that is one of them, but I would like the species. That is one that would really look great in the greenhouse if I could ever get hold of one. And last on my list here, number 5, is Adiantum Macrophyllum. Now this is a maidenhair fern, and it looks similar to other maidenhair ferns. It actually originates, I think, as a species from the Galapagos Islands, but it's a large lobed maidenhair fern. So it does look quite different when you see it next to one of the ones that we're more used to seeing with the tiny little lobes on those fronds. And what's so particularly good about this is obviously those large lobes, but also the colours can range from green through to bronzes through to reds, and it really is quite a stunner. Now I believe it's quite easy to get hold of abroad. Not easy to get hold of in the UK, in fact you can't. It's impossible to get hold of in the UK, and that's probably one of the reasons that make it so attractive to me. Okay, so that's my 5 choices of my wish list plants. Tell me what your choices are in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from people, and what I want you to do now is either click on the screen or click on the link in the description or in the pinned comment and head over to Anna at Anna's Violet and subscribe if you like what you see, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well. And for now, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.